What's up YouTube, Tim Madden here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to get known in today's current marketplace for these high-level roles that are not posted online. Probably one of my most frequently asked questions, right? Tim, how do I go after the 90% of director and VP roles that aren't on a job board, right? How do I get recruiters, decision makers, headhunters to come after me for these roles? And I tell them, it's magic, man. Just kidding, guys. That's what I'm going to share with you in today's video. And hey, if you don't know me, over the last decade, I've placed or led a team that's placed 8,000 people, worked for the largest Fortune 500 company doing executive placements, and I've owned my own very successful firm, and that's what I'm committed to. So if you like content like this, hit the subscribe button below, and let's get started. All right, so hey, now is quite possibly the best time to get known in the marketplace, right? There's so many people that are looking for good people right now, but if you're not set up correctly, right, they are not going to find you. So how do you do that? Now, trust me, contrary to popular belief, it is not send your resume out 1,000 times to every single job posting board out there, right? And then kind of cross your finger and wait for an entry-level recruiter to call you. You're not going to be coming from a position of power, and you're only going to be targeting those positions which are listed, which by the time they're listed, it's probably too late. So tip number one I have for you, results-driven, achievement-based messages, okay? Let me share with you what I mean. Most people, when they create a resume or a LinkedIn profile, they talk about what they do. Hey, I do this, I'm results driven, I've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm good at what I do, I specialize in process improvement. Guys, after being a headhunter for so long and training other headhunters, we hate seeing this, okay? So here's an analogy that I share with most of my clients when we do resume and LinkedIn updates, okay? Football. You guys watch football? I hope so, because that's the analogy I'm using. So think about it. You have a message right now most of the time saying, here's what I do. Here's what I do. I do this. I do this. I do this. And then I ask people, well, what does a wide receiver do in the National Football League, in college football? In the most simplest terms, they're supposed to catch a ball and run a touchdown, right or wrong. Okay. Now, if they're in college and they want to get drafted to the NFL, are they going to have a document that says, hey, I'm supposed to catch a football and run a touchdown? They're going to be like, are you serious? What's the only thing that matters if you're going to put them on your fantasy football team? If they're going to get drafted by the NFL? They're statistics, man. It's black and white. What's your pass completion percentage? What's your average runs per carry? How many touchdowns have you have? And that's all I want to know. Most of the time, they don't even care what school you went to. And the better your statistics, that's the difference between a wide receiver who gets paid $1 million a year and a wide receiver who gets paid $30 million a year. So why in corporate America do I run across very, very, very successful people who have documents saying, here's what I do? The only reason people are going to hire you is how successful you've been. If they have 17 people in there and they're all VP of Ops and they all kind of manage the same amount of people, well, how do you tell them apart? Messaging, right? What does your document look like? Is it achievement-based and results-driven? Okay. And if you want an exact look on what these messages look like, in the description, there is my email. Shoot me an email and I'll send you some awesome resumes before and after that we've done so you can see what these messages look like. But most of the time people talk about, here's what I do, and here's what and actually, no, that's it. Here's what I do. So I'm going to show you, right, coming up, how to get this correct so people can actually find you. Because I'm telling you, headhunters and recruiters are on these job boards every single day, scouring it, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day on LinkedIn, scouring it. But they keep running across messages that say, here's what I do, here's what I do, here's what I do, not how successful I've been, okay? Tip number two, your career summary, right, your career summary at the top of your resume and in your about section on LinkedIn. By the way, this is most of the time the only thing a recruiter, a decision maker, or a headhunter is going to look at. So we have to be very, very, very careful on what we place here. Most of the time on resumes, people have a big paragraph, right? I'm awesome at what I do. I'm results driven. I've done this. I've been doing it 20 years. Dude, show me the numbers, man. Show me the stats. How have you been successful? If you're a VP of sales, how have you grew sales, right? So the example I got for you here, we're going to talk about 5 things, but here's how to word them, right? Here's how to word them on your resume and on your LinkedIn profile in the about section. You need to be writing these bullet comments as, here's what I do, like 95% of messages people have, but then they need to take a step further and say, here's how I've been successful at doing that. And most people who do say that stop there. I urge you to take one more step and say, and these are the results that have came about, right? Here's what I do. Here's how I've done it successfully. And as a result, these things have happened. So think about a football player, right? If we're doing a biography of him, are we going to write about how he's been doing this for 5 years, where he went to school, and put all his statistics at the bottom, which is the only thing people care about? No. So I urge you, when you're taking a look at these resume and your LinkedIn profile, look at the very top, because how do we read in America? We read the top, and if we don't like the top, dude, we're not reading the bottom. So think about your industry, right? So the example I have here is operations. You know, if I'm going to be hiring an operations professional, these are probably the 5 biggest things I'm worried about, right? Or want to know. How many people does this person currently manage? And I'll tell you, I've worked with people that have literally managed almost 1,000 people, and they say, I lead a team, okay? So managing people, training them effectively, cost savings, right? Like how have you helped reduce costs, and increasing efficiency. That's what your next employer cares about. The better you can hone in on this messaging, the more easier it is for a recruiter to find you. If it says, I manage a team, and I do this, and I do this, this recruiter, this headhunter, this decision maker, next, yeah, more paragraphs. And then they see a bullet comment at the top. Hey, I'm a training and development specialist. Hey, over the past 25 years, I've trained over 50,000 sales professionals in these industries and have been awarded blah, blah, blah. There's your first bullet comment. Now you got my attention. Now you got the headhunter's attention for the big position, the big director or VP role that he's working on, while everyone else is saying, oh, you know, I train people, okay? Numbers matter, statistics matter. It's gonna be the determining factor on, number 1, if someone ever calls you, and number 2, your negotiating power when you get to the interview. And by the way, when you have these optimized messages, it makes it tremendously easier in the interview because you have a results-driven, achievement-based message. So when you're talking to the recruiter, headhunter, decision maker, they're literally looking at your achievements. Who wants to go on one of those interviews? If you have a message that just says, here's what I do, it makes it so hard and it confuses people. So make it easier for people to connect with you. Make it easier for the NFL to draft you, okay? That's why people are going to hire people, because they're good at what they do, not because they do that, right? So tip number 3, after you update these documents, make sure you go on all of the job boards, not apply for 100 jobs, but just upload your results-driven, achievement-based message, which highlights at the top things relative to your industry, how you've been successful doing it, and the results associated with that, okay? If you have any questions, email me below in the description as well, okay? And on LinkedIn, right? These about sections, people read them. I'm telling you, they're gonna read that before they look at your experiences. Highlight and showcase your achievements, your accomplishments, and tell people how you did it. Tell people that, hey, before I came to this organization, this was broke. And this is specifically what I did. And because of that, these things happened in a positive way. Now you got my attention. Now I want to call you, because I'm telling you, there's nothing that lets down a recruiter, headhunter, or decision maker worse than getting on a call for 45 minutes from a guy that unfortunately it just isn't qualified. So we're very protective of our time because there's only so much time in the day. So make it easier for people to find you. So by uploading this new message onto the job boards, and by the way, Indeed, Monster, Career Builder, Tim, which job board is the best? All of them. All of them. Because I've had people get jobs that I've worked with, right, on all of them. Upload it to all of them, but the most important thing after you do upload these new messages, you log in every couple days. You log in and log out, because when recruiters and headhunters and decision makers are doing the search, they're going to search by the people who last logged in. Okay, so have your message that's solid, talks about how successful you've been at the top when they log in. That's how you're going to get called. Okay, LinkedIn as well. Headhunters are searching for optimized profiles, so they have a clear understanding, so they feel comfortable reaching out to them. All right, everyone, in closing, if you got any value from this, if you have any more questions, please comment below in the description. Hey, maybe you want to land your next six-figure or multiple six-figure job in the next 90 days. There's details down below. Maybe you want to get connected to our Facebook group so you can ask me questions on the daily about your career and how to accelerate it. Or maybe you want to be a part of our LinkedIn group, which is full of directors, VPs, and executives across the country. And if you haven't yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys soon.